Hey everybody, it's me, Johnny Levi, and I want to wish you a happy 2023. It is a new year and I am ready for some new adventure. How about you? Yeah, this is Gracileia. She is my beautiful model that is now a resident of Bainbridge Island, but she is a pro model and we are so grateful and excited that I get to play with this cute head of hair. All right. So for 2023, I've made some changes. This YouTube channel has been growing over the past 6 months. We're gonna continue our journey with hair information and education. What am I going to teach you today? I am going to teach you how to control the hairline so that Gracileia can change her part if she'd like to, or create a side bang depending on what she's doing. And then during the day or when it's a normal wash and wear go day, let that cowlick and hairline accent itself. When is the last time you had a haircut?
I'll say 3 months ago maybe.
Okay, so 3 months is usually about a ½ inch of growth, maybe a little bit more than that. Things that I look for right away is, where is this hitting on her face and is it showing anything off? Right now we're longer than the jawline, so if I am going to bring up that framing into the base of her cheekbone, we'll start to see the shadow of her cheek a little bit more. That's something very, very important for every artist to look for, is where on the face and bone structure is the hair falling, and is it accenting and enhancing that area, or is it hiding something that's truly remarkable and special about somebody's face? We're gonna start with a cute shampoo. We'll be back in just a moment. So one of the best little tidbits of information comes from our guest and not so much our education. Leia was not afraid to give me a little bit of a tip while we were doing her shampoo and made mention of wanting to stay as far away from a triangular shape as possible. And with her natural curl, it is really easy to create a haircut that has a lot of weight down here towards the perimeter. Unfortunately, what that does is create a very big chunk of bulk that ends up looking like a triangle if the curl isn't perfect or if you haven't refined everything. My #1 recommendation as an artist that's been doing this for 20 years is that layers are your friend, and the more timid you are about layering, the less shape and life you're gonna get. So we're gonna give her quite a few layers. I do take some things into consideration that we'll get to soon, given head shape and where things need to fall, and then hair density. So I'm gonna just start with my first partings, let me get those taken care of, and then we'll go into detail. I always dig at the scalp to comb any of the tangles and really make sure the grain of the hair is beautiful. Once I have my section, which for now is the center back, I'm going to place my hands as close to the nape of the neck as possible and close my thumb over my pointer finger to grab and keep tension of the hair. Then I will follow my comb down to the basic outline, and I never cut past that second knuckle for my own safety. And we're just going to create a really crisp, clean basic outline. Remember, when you're doing hair in the salon, that if you create a haircut that is at 0 elevation and really close to the person's skin and body, that the line will be very nice and clean. All right, so let's talk about the parting at this haircut. If it's a lob or a longer bob, you can part at the hairline behind the ear, and that will allow for this corner to be pulled square and then cut. This is a big one for everyone at home. I'm just gonna undo that. This is called graduation. So no matter what haircut you're doing, I'm gonna have Leia look way down to the floor. As I push, you're going to see erroneous hair that pokes out from underneath the straight line that you just created. If you want everything to be really nice and clean and grow out well, you're going to go through and, as we say, take out that trash. So any excess hair, now that she's looking down, will rotate to the right, and I can pull down, and I just find a few hairs that would be poking out from behind the ear and fix that. Lastly, watch people's necklaces. Don't cut them. Once again, as I use the shape of my guest's skull and neck, I can pull the hair into a 0 elevation place, and then you can see these hairs that poke out from under the haircut. This is vitally important because your guest is gonna go walk around, and if she's shopping and these hairs are poking out from underneath the perimeter of your haircut, it's not going to look as attractive, and people won't stop and ask, where did you get your hair done? We want that to happen. Let's work on the front now. Leia's gonna stay sitting nice and tall, equal on both butt cheeks, to be quite frank. You've seen me before cut hair standing. That's just a good guarantee that their body posture is appropriate. But for now, I'm just gonna have Leia look over her left shoulder for me. Yep, either shoulder, actually, doesn't matter. That was also left. If you're in camera land, it's opposite, maybe. I'm going all the way now from the guide that I created in back. So I'm going to take a 1-inch section of hair that's behind the hairline, behind the ear. I know that's a lot of behinds. And then I'm going to, with the fine teeth of my comb, really nicely comb the grain of that hair. I also like to lift my elevation just to see if any hairs are caught around the ear. And then one last glide at the top of the ear this time. I'm gonna take my pointer and middle finger and close it around the hair, closing my thumb to maintain tension. I'm gonna step forward slightly so that my body is able to function properly. I can fold my comb. I can hold it straight across if I need to see the guide, which is great for beginners. And then I can take that cut and move, oh, see? Forward with it. Beautiful. Also, if you're a beginner, you should know that you should keep 3 to 7 combs on your station at all times, just in case you drop one like I just did. And then you can start to see Leia's curl pattern coming out around her face right away. So that helps you acknowledge what her hair texture is really going to be like when she air dries. One, two, close the fingers and the thumb, pull with tension, and release. And now you're done with your basic outline on one side. Leia can look forward again. I am gonna give her framing on this side because her part is always over here on the right. And if she doesn't have framing here, but does have framing here, it will look very imbalanced. However, take into consideration the curl. That ringlet just started to pop out. It is trying to tell us a message, and you all need to listen to that message. If this gets cut too short, you can imagine she's gonna have a little curly wingly BBB. I don't even know what that word is, but we're not gonna like it. So be conservative about the amount of framing that you do and really take into consideration what's gonna happen with her hair on the days that she is air drying. Thank you for letting me get all that out. It was very important. Okay, now that we have a proper amount of moisture in the hair, I'm going to comb with a light amount of tension in my fingers instead of an excessive amount. I've decided that it will land beautifully if it's at her lip level. So I'm gonna go a half of an inch longer than what I hoped for so that I know the curl will bounce up and I now didn't make the mistake of going too short. It's just about thinking before you move through the cut. And now you can see her curl starts to come out. I can even enhance it by wrapping it around my finger. And we start to see it fall literally right at the dimple of her cheek, which is the cutest part, right? Like, that's what your goal is, make them look cuter. Okay. We have all talked about this a little bit in previous episodes, and I continue to tell you that I'm left-handed. We might even put that in the bio somewhere so that people can acknowledge that if they need to learn a left-handed version, they can come to me. But either way, what really changes depending on your dominant hand is where you're standing. So as an artist, we always want to cut the hair short to long. And in this scenario, for me to do that, I need to stand on Leia's left side because I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you just come to the opposite side, and when you're cutting, your shears will lead from the front to the back. Mine don't, obviously, because of my left-handedness. So I'll stand on her left side. I'm lifting a section of hair that has about 1 finger width on each side of her part, and that will give me a good starting guide for the haircut, and it will equally balance both sides of her hair. In this scenario, I'm going to split that first section into 2 so that I'm not cutting past my second knuckle. I'm gonna once again find my tension by closing my pointer finger and middle finger around the hair and closing that thumb so that you have complete control. What I'm doing is lifting to where I find the piece of framing that I created by mobilizing it in the opposite direction. You can see we're landing right about lip level, and as I lift it, I can see where that hair was cut, and I can use that as my first guide by lifting up. This can be point cut. I'm going to choose a clean blunt line. And you can also double check by pulling over and seeing where it's going to land. You can tell now this is landing in her cheekbone instead of in that last inch of hair, but it's also not landing up here somewhere near her eyebrow, which in my opinion would be way too short for these layers. Moving that guide back and continuing the same rhythm and technique, you can see that I hold my tension when I cut. There are a lot of hairstylists out there, and I'm not shaming you, but that pull their tension and then completely release and choose to cut down here. It might be better for your shoulders, and I understand that, but you can be messing up that tension that you've just created in the hair, getting that clean cut. So watch out for releasing tension before you cut hair. Gorgeous. All right, in order to maintain that cutting from short to long, I'm gonna start on her right side while I stand behind her. I'm gonna take very small partings because I like to. Use the fine tooth of my comb, digging at the root, closing my fingers and thumb, and as I lift, I can create a nice angle. I'm looking for the shortest hairs to be where she parts, and then we will be connecting to the longest hairs down at the perimeter. The next step of this haircut is connecting what we just did on top with the basic outline, and the parietal ridge, which is the curve of the head right here, is a very important part for advanced hair cutting. So focus on this. What we're gonna do is find the curve of her skull using the comb, and you can tell where the flat of the head starts to change until we get to the flat on the side of the face. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, you're gonna pull directly from the parietal ridge at a very nice, clean angle. Is that perpendicular from the skull? Yeah, parallel is, okay. Doesn't matter. I'm just guessing. Blair, you didn't know the answer?
Yes.
I was like, she's a nurse, she'll figure it out. With this section of hair, you really can create or take away weight or help preserve density at the basic outline. So what I'm really doing is pulling very nice and clean from the shape of the skull. If I keep my fingers parallel to the curve of the head, they look like that, and I would have a large corner to cut off. If I want to preserve density at the basic outline, I actually extend my finger angle so that it's not following the shape of the skull anymore, and there is less of a corner to cut. So follow me one more time. I'm going to take my section, it's about 1 inch. I'm going to pull directly from the parietal ridge with nice tension. If my finger angle stays the same, I have a large corner to cut. If I point my finger angle out, I'm going to preserve the density at the basic outline and still have a corner to cut, it's just not as big. It's up to you on what you're doing. So if I'm doing an inverted bob in the back and the layers in the front are preserving that density in the basic outline, but here I want a lot more layer, I would actually pull perpendicular from the parietal ridge and cut with my finger angle the same as the skull shape, creating maximum layers. Amika! I'm gonna do this now. Okay. These are the 4 Amika products that I really love to use for almost everybody's hair. I'm gonna start and I'm going to explain it in a way that helps anybody at home understand. We're gonna use the metaphor of getting our nails done. There's always a base coat, something exciting, and then a top coat. Our first step in Leia's very wet hair is to use our base coat. In this instance, it's gonna be our plus size perfect body mousse. That's my favorite name in the whole world. Let's say it again. You have a plus size perfect body mousse by Amika. Everything else worry about later. All right. Using 1 golf ball size pump of my plus size perfect body mousse by Amika, I'm going to attack Leia's hairline. I can promise you that no other product, and I don't mean just Amika's plus size perfect body mousse, I also mean all mousse is good to help with this situation. It's very important to put it in when the hair is wet, but I am just going to glide my fingers across the hairline. You can see the mousse, which is a foam, no surprise, we've been using it since 1982, is turning into a liquid-like substance and just casting a nice base coat over the cuticle of every one of the hairs that we just put it on. Take note, I'm not putting the mousse all the way down to the ends. I am literally focused on just her roots. This is how you attack a head of hair with calyx, curl, or a demanding part that you want to change, okay? Once you've applied your mousse, you're gonna use a comb. We're gonna use the fine teeth of the comb to direct the hair follicle into the way that we want it to stay and be maintained. If you're a woman at home and you are doing your own hair and you got bangs and you have a cowlick and you don't know how to deal with it, you put a little bit of mousse in there. You point your blow dryer down and you use the fine tooth of a comb and the shape of your own skull, and you just start to comb. And you will see that the mousse creates a completely different shape. It in fact allows you to create any shape or part or direction in the hair that you want. It's quite magical, actually. I'll start on this little corner. So I'll have you turn for me. As you can see with Leia's hair, I'm just gonna take that first half or quarter of an inch and take away the rest of the hair so that we're not working in a confused or unorganized manner. Now you can look forward. Before I go into this with the blow dryer on, which will be B-roll, it will be B-roll if you didn't know. I'll share one tidbit of information. I'm gonna comb that hair that's wet with the mousse in it forward. I'm gonna take the fine teeth of my comb, and whether you can see this or not, it may be hard. I'm actually going to point it and touch her face with the teeth of the comb, like that. And then I'll flip the comb and it will grab onto that hair. So I've got it pointed teeth to skin. I'm gonna flip it to back to skin. So now the teeth are facing out and I've grabbed the hair like a dingle hopper fork in The Little Mermaid. Thank you. And move forward. Within 2 strokes of the blow dry, her cowlick is already managed. We're gonna do that all the way around the hairline now. We're gonna get close so that you can see what's happening with my comb and my fingers, and we'll be back as soon as it's done. All right, everyone, we worked on those roots with the comb just now, and you think you're done, but you're not. Why? Because Leia has curly hair. And if you don't complete the rest of this blow dry before attacking everything else, the curl might revert. So I think it is important to just at least round brush through the ends and create the shape around her face. Then you can attack everything that's on the interior. It's allowed to have a little bit more fluff. We don't need to control the root as much. We might be able to even utilize her density and her curl as a part of the styling. But this hairline is really important to me. In order to complete the look and utilize our collapsed follicle at the front the most, what we're going to do is, I'll come on to this side because it's easier, put my round brush right behind, I'm gonna do all that all over again. 4, 3, 2, 1. The first step as soon as we finish the comb is to finish that hair shaft very beautifully and close the cuticle with a round brush. So what I'm going to do in order to continue with the collapsing of the follicle at the hairline is put the hair in front of the brush. Then I'll point the blow dryer to the face or on the surface of the brush. Usually I'm trying to aim for the top or the horizon, and I will slowly pull forward. This will allow me to close the cuticle at the ends of her hair and also lock in a little bit more of that mousse we put in to collapse the hairline. I'll show you in 3, 2, 1. you can immediately see that this hair does not lift up and away anymore. It's in fact right in her face, which will be great and annoying all at the same time. Let's finish the rest of the sides. Let's finish. That's cute. Yeah, you look like a girl. Ooh, yes. All right, we're just gonna finish the front perimeter real quick. Same thing. Our secondary product, now that we've finished the hairline, is to create a little bit of volume and texture throughout. I'm using the Brooklyn Bombshell Blowout Spray by Amika. This is in partnership with the Plus Size Perfect Body Mousse. This is kind of their standout product as far as blowouts are concerned. You can do a round brush blowout with this and get a lot of volume and movement, or you can enhance wave and natural texture with this and kind of create that beachier texture like spray. So it's really, really nice to use. I just take a little bit of a lift of the top of the hair when I'm utilizing this product and spray from about 10 to 12 inches away so that it's cast throughout the hair. Then you go on and style just by finger drying and having some fun. Let's do that. 3, 2, 1. Everybody, Leia's hair is done. It's beautiful. I'm gonna flat iron a little bit for styling, for longevity, so she can go home to her family and not have to worry about her hair. But let's talk about a few very important things. One, you can see that her hairline is now collapsible, so we are not concerned about this just flipping up and back. Also, because we took the time to blow out her hairline as well as we did, she now has the ability to completely switch her part, to accent her hairline, face, whatever, as much as she wants, including as simple as tucking it behind her ear and not having frizz right here is all we're asking for. It's a little extra work, but it's totally worth it when it comes to that blowout. And Leia and I were talking while the camera wasn't rolling. She said that she has naturally gone into her wardrobe or place that she gets ready, I don't know. She's gone into the mirror and taken care of this hairline before getting to the rest of her hair for a very long time because she's accustomed to the curl that has happened before. She also said she's never had a hairstylist in a salon do that first and then attack the rest. So if you're looking to build your business, grow your books, or enhance your pricing, you're gonna do so by learning these small extra things that are gonna help enhance the client's experience. The difference in the haircut too is that you can really see it collapse across her cheekbones. We start to see the movement in the right places, but it's not all pushing away from her face, which is what happens with the natural hairline. Did I talk enough this episode? I think so. Well, everybody, as you can see, Leia looks beautiful. The last step was our Fluxus hairspray, which is a very touchable hairspray by Amika once again. I like to spray, I love to spray my fingers instead of spraying the hair so it doesn't get tacky, and just lightly placing that hairspray. Oftentimes, because it's in the tips of my fingers, I will grab this section of hair and place it under the hair just by squeezing, and that will keep this from falling completely in her face for the day. As you can see, this is a streamlined, smooth, shiny, silky, beautiful haircut, and it will wear well when she wears her hair natural and curly. So thank you for letting Leia and I into your houses or onto your cell phones. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and watching this information. 2023 is gonna be a great year. We are going to work really hard to bring you new content regularly. It will be about hair and hobbies so that you can see all of the parts that I bring to the table and you can create at home. We love. All right, from Leia, Jordan, myself, and Blair, hurry, come on. We don't need the camera anymore. And Blair, now you see the whole team. This is what it takes to make a YouTube episode, so please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, Leia, for being our model. we're gonna go outside and shoot this in a very beautiful editorial manner now so you can get inspired at home. Goodbye, everyone. Yeah, that's what's up.
In my mouth is a desert, running dry on the tip of my tongue. I can taste your lies, how to measure the love you throw around. I could never hold you down. You're tall as the so full of emotion. You're tall as the ocean, so full of emotion. You're tall as the you're tall as the ocean, and I can't touch the floor. So full of emotion, I can't keep any more. Are we out of time? Will we be swallowed whole? Don't give up on us now. I can feel you there, where I once had you all alone. In the back of my mind, I'm under your spell, I can't get out. My heart falls 5 feet low, and I'm still here.